Alright, the line y equals 1/2 x plus 4 intersects a perpendicular line at negative 3, 2. It wants the y-intercept of that perpendicular line. Alright, well, two things we need to know. Parallel lines have the same slope. Alright, so here's what I mean. Think about a coordinate plane, and we have two lines. Boom, boom. The rise and the run to get from these is going to be the exact same. So it's going to rise the same amount, run the same amount. So they have the exact same slope. Now if it's perpendicular to that, a line that looks like this, those are making right angles. So those perpendicular lines have a different relationship. They're going the opposite direction, agreed? Like that would be a positive slope because it increases, that would be a negative slope because it decreases. So it's going to be the opposite for perpendicular lines. So it would be opposite, and you flip the fraction, so it's opposite reciprocal. All right, so they have opposite reciprocal, so that means that you change the sign and you flip the fraction. Reciprocal means like if you had 3/4, you would flip it to make it 4/3. Or if you had the whole number 2, that would be 2/1. You would flip it to make it 1/2. So let's look at this example. We have our slope is 1/2 because this is in y equals mx plus b form. And remember, the number in front of the x is your slope, so that m is my slope. So that 1/2, since it says perpendicular, I'm going to flip it, which makes it 2/1. And I'm going to change the sign of it because it says opposite reciprocal. That means I changed the sign to a negative because it was a positive. Alright, so that's my new m. My m is negative 2/1 or just negative 2. Alright, now I'm going to plug this into my y equals mx plus b to solve for my, remember the b stands for your y-intercept. So what do I have here? The negative 3 is a x, the 2 is a y, so I'm just going to plug in what I know. So 2 gets plugged in here. My m is a negative 2, I just found out. My x is a negative 3, so it's negative 2 times negative 3 plus the b. And then negative 2 times negative 3 is 6, so it's 6 plus b equals 2. I subtract 6 to both sides. And b is just going to be negative 4. Now it wants it as an ordered pair, so I need to write that as the y value is negative 4, so it's 0, negative 4. And that's my final answer. Alright, I'm going to have you guys try one on your own. Just remember, parallel lines have the same slope, perpendicular is opposite reciprocal. Alright, go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. And here's your solution. Alright, I know my m is going to be 4 because it's perpendicular, so that means I need to flip this fraction to make it negative 4/1, and then I need to change the sign of it, so I need to make it a positive. So my m is just 4. So I plug that in here. I know that's my x and that's my y. So it would be negative 3 equals 4 times negative 4 plus b. I get negative 16 plus b equals negative 3. I add 16 to both sides, which gives me positive 13 for b. And I need to write it as an ordered pair. So the x value is 0, and I just solved for y, so my y value is 13. And that's my answer.